Are you ready?
Oh, yes. Now nervous. before I wasn't, to the camera cut on, it was like,
hey. It's different when you're not holding it in your hand and right in front of you.
I know, right? Mm-hmm.
So, we are here to talk about setting the atmosphere.
Yes, we are.
How would you say this conversation came about, this idea?
I would say that this conversation came about with one of our amazing conversations that we have, connecting as artists, as women, as mothers, and just talking about entrepreneurship, creativity, all of those different things. And we realized that, like, we had a very common similarity in regards to spirituality, and creativity, and our purpose in life. And so that's what I would say is
that's your side of your friendship side of the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my take on it. What do you think your take would be on it?
My take would be that we have had like a long time mutual respect for one another as entrepreneurs and businesswomen. And we would think that we were going to talk for a few minutes about a little bit of this and a little bit of idea of that. And a few hours later, we are, 80 pages in on just really good, fruitful, feeding conversation.
Yes.
Like that conversation that feeds the soul, the spirit, and at the same time we making money, we building businesses, we're just sharing our knowledge with one another, our experiences, our ups and downs, our successes and failures, and then twisted in there is, won't he do it? Twisted in there is, I gotta grab my daughter, you gotta grab your daughter, Twisted in there is all those things that we experience, and I think we both were like, people need to hear this, right? Yeah.
And I think it's also just like the messages sometimes, where like understanding that God utilizes people to give you messages that you may need to hear. And so it was this thing of like, I feel like sometimes we would be talking to each other and it'd be like, that was right on point. That was something that I needed to hear based off of whatever it was that I was experiencing, and understanding that maybe those messages weren't just for us. It was for other people to hear it as well, because they may be going through whatever it is that they need to be going through, but that message from God will reassure them of their path, their decision, or whatever it is that they're experiencing.
Yeah. So a whole lot of confirmation, right? So we've been at this thing now.
I don't even know. It's been a minute.
For a minute, right? And when I say at this thing, I mean that I need to talk to someone that can relate, right? I need to speak to someone that's either been where I am, or they're where I'm trying to get, or they just have an understanding about my passion, why I'm so passionate about the things I'm trying to do. And that's not as easy to find as people may think.
Very true.
Right? There's a lot of entrepreneurs.
Very true.
To be nice, right? But not all are open. Not all are willing to share their knowledge and resources. Not all are willing to share when they're struggling, right? Not all are women who are also mothers, who are also artists and creatives and candle makers and painters and mug designers and all the many things. And so we decided we would bring this to the people.
And I know you guys are gonna love it.
Yeah, so we're I mean, so much to say, so many amazing conversations, from God to astrology to just figuring out how to center ourselves, right?
Yes.
And we couldn't decide how to narrow that all the way down to something for you all to kind of eat on and digest. Yeah. And we kind of settled on setting the atmosphere. Setting the atmosphere. So that's what we're going to talk about in this series, beginning with today. And today is just a little intro to how we work and what we hope to achieve in the next few weeks.
Very true. And so when I think about setting the atmosphere, I think about the space in which I create. And of course, as you can see, we are in a space of creation.
we're in my space this week.
Yes.
We'll be moving around. So this is this week's space. We're in a little corner. We're kind of snuggled into a corner of my studio. Many of our conversations has happened in this room, so we thought it would be a great place to start.
Yes.
But we'll be moving around to different places, setting the atmosphere, and we have a really special surprise coming at some point in regards to that.
So y'all better make sure that y'all look out for that. But yeah, I think about it in essence of like when I'm creating candles. And so that's one of the big things for me when I say candle making is just not candle making for me in regards to like it's just a product that I'm pushing out. So for me with candle making, because it is something that I put intentions into, I have to be in a space energetically, mentally, and emotionally. And I also have to be in a space that is positive and balanced as well. So I've learned that like sometimes people may order candles from me, but if I'm tired or if I'm thinking about things in my head or if it's personal things that's going on in my life, I have to delay making that because when I do the candle making, everything is set from beginning to end. So like I cleanse my space. So, if people aren't aware of it, like some of the cleansing tools that I use is sage or Palo Santo, incense, things of that nature. And what it does is just like, of course, you got to open up the windows and you light it and you just kind of walk through and you can say out loud or in your head, like, any energies that are aligned, any energies that are unbalanced, please remove yourself. I'm bringing in peace. I'm bringing in positivity, all of that. So like setting the space in regards to like clearing out the energy. There are certain music that I play as well. So there's like frequency music. And depending on the frequency level, it can tap into certain chakra points. So because everything that I do is centered around love, which is like the Ndinkra symbol that's on my my logo, it symbolizes love. I play frequency music that is tapped into the heart chakra. So then I'll put the music on and then I will start the process of like melting down the wax, adding the fragrance, all of that. And then in the process of me pouring the wax into the candles, I'll also have like rose quartz crystals sitting next to it to give that loving energy and vibration. And I'll also speak intentions as I'm pouring the wax into the jar as to what I want the person to feel and experience and have when they are burning the candle. And so that is why it's very big for me, where it's not just like I'm just in there just throwing some wax together. It's like, no, it's like a whole process and energy that I am putting into it that I want people to feel when they experience my candles. And so for me, definitely setting the atmosphere is really big with that.
Yeah. So I kind of laughed a little bit at the end because I'm gonna pretend you guys aren't here, right? Because when we speak, what has been so dope about it is we've just been so transparent and so real. So normally you're talking, right? And I'm sitting here like chakra points, like what? Like I'm a huge fan of your candles, right? That's one of the things we talk often about. Yes. I have many of them all around my studio right now. They need to listen. I need to have that mahogany mastermind lit right now. Shame on me. But I can testify to being on the receiving end of all this energy you're talking about putting in the candle because I receive that energy. Like seriously, is now part of my setting the atmosphere. Right, so me setting the atmosphere, very, very different, but I really respect the discipline and the practice of what you're saying because I have a similar need to produce, right? So like I cannot just walk in a room, sit down and start painting at all. Like I can't just sit down and start painting a painting or jump up and do something and come back to it. I need to be fully present, right? And so for me, setting the atmosphere is lighting my candles, right? It's always making a cup of coffee. If it's not coffee, it's tea. I literally need to start every session with something warm. And even if I don't drink it, it's something about the coziness, it's something about the heat, it's something about the warmth. I think the warmth coming close to my body that puts me in a place to be ready to give. It slows me down. I think that's another thing about drinking something hot. It forces you to slow down.
And take a second.
To sip, right? And also, my devotions, my Bible is always nearby. My book, I write my notes in, is nearby. Most days I will do a physical devotion first because for me, I feel like I need God to always know He's more important than my work. I think the minute I let my work become more important, it's a problem, right? Gotcha. And so even if it's a few minutes of a sermon, a few minutes of notes, I need to have set the atmosphere with my intention of being used by God. Gotcha. So that's my set the atmosphere routine. And some of the tools that I need to have that atmosphere set. And so I think part of our conversation was kind of built on me being like,